Good morning. My name is Christine Zeller, and I am a program manager in the MCW Office of Community Engagement. Thank you all for joining us today as we celebrate the exceptional individuals who are the recipients of this year's President's Award for Community Engagement and the President's Awards for Diversity and Inclusion. The first half of the ceremony will recognize the Community Engagement awardees. Then we will transition to the Diversity and Inclusion Awards. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Saeed Ahmed, Associate Provost and Senior Associate Dean for Community Engagement. Dr. Ahmed is a professor in the Department of Family and Community Medicine and the Institute for Health and Equity. He is the director of the Community Engagement Core and the CTSI Collaboration Engagement Domain. Dr. Ahmed?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Christine. Thanks all of you for coming today to our 6th annual President's Community Engagement Award ceremony. It highlights the exemplary community engagement work being done by these remarkable individuals. For the first time this year, we are holding our ceremony in a virtual format, and we are delighted that you are able to join us in a very new way. Also, for the first time, we are very pleased to jointly host this award ceremony with the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Following the presentation of Community Engagement Awards, we will turn over the ceremony to Dr. Greer Jordan, who will preside over the President's Awards for Diversity and Inclusion. The President's Community Engagement Award recognizes outstanding community academic partnership, community engaged research, community outreach activities by faculty, staff, students, and community partners of the Medical College of Wisconsin. This year, for the second year in a row, we broke a new record for the number of nominations we received, 30. This large and outstanding pool of nominees is clear evidence of the thriving interest and commitment to community engagement at MCW. Each awardee received an engraved plaque, which we hope you'll be able to see as they appear on camera. Their names are also being added to a large all plaque that we proudly display in our Office of Community Engagement for posterity. With each passing year, we build a larger and stronger group of people who are dedicated to achieving excellence in community engagement. It is worth reminding, even about 15 years ago, we had only a handful of faculty staff were getting involved in community engagement. Now, each year, few hundred faculty, staff, and students get involved in community engagement. This says a lot about Medical College of Wisconsin embracing community engagement as core mission, one of the 4 missions of Medical College of Wisconsin. I have some comments to our awardees. Your presence here today is a powerful visual of the impact of community engagement and the wealth of resources we have built for improving the health of the communities we serve. Thank you for being here as representatives of this vision. I would also ask each of you to mentor others to learn authentic community engagement so that it has a positive impact of the communities we serve. That's a major call, and if we all do that, we'll even have a larger cohort of folks who knows how to do community engagement and be true to the vision and values of community engagement. Before I turn it over to President Raymond, I'd like to thank everyone, all the participants, all the people who are joining us, all the awardees, all the reviewers who reviewed all this nomination, and especially staff of the Office of Community Engagement. They work behind the scene non-stop to make it so successful. I'd like to thank them. Now I'd like to introduce our President of the Medical College of Wisconsin, President John R. Raymond Sr. We are honored to have him here with us today to present the President's Community Engagement Awards. We greatly value his leadership and his ardent support for community engagement mission. President Raymond, I will turn the ceremony over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Saeed. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to you for your leadership, your 20 years of service to MCW, which have been absolutely exemplary, for being a wonderful and valued colleague and collaborator, and a shining light and one of the pioneers of community engaged research. I want to make sure that you know that your contributions to MCW will last longer than your tenure here through the people that you've trained and the community partnerships that you've built. We wish you well in your retirement, and we hope that you'll stay in touch with us because you mean so much to the institution and to many of the people here, Saeed. So I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done. Wish you well for the future. I also want to say we know that times are tough here and that people are struggling and worried about their financial future and that we have constrained spending. So I want to make sure everyone knows the President's Community Engagement Awards were funded by a donor this year. We're not using MCW funds for the awards. So I want to thank Maggie Raymond for funding these. And then finally, before we get started, at noon today, we are having a memorial service for one of our M4 students who we tragically lost this last weekend. And I want to make sure that we try to finish on time for anybody that wants to go to the memorial service for Arman Halim. And if we could just have a moment of silence. And thank you. And if we can turn that silence into action and support each other during these very difficult times from which we may feel disconnected from each other in the virtual environment. So without further ado, I'll go on to the Community Engagement Awards. I'll start with Community Partner Awards. And the first goes to Brett Fuller, MAE. And this category is for community partners. Now, Brett is the curriculum specialist for health and physical education within MPS. And for more than 20 years, his philosophy has centered on educating students about how to be healthy, not just for their time in school, but for a lifetime. And Brett works to share best practices around health and physical education in partnership with educators and other leaders throughout Milwaukee and Wisconsin. And he works closely with our learners and with their families. And he's collaborated with MCW on an Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin endowment-sponsored project connecting physical education to after-school programming. And he spearheaded a successful effort to reduce teen pregnancy in the MPS schools, which has since become a model for other districts, and I would say for other cities and regions in the US. And he's been a tireless advocate for the health of underrepresented people and under-resourced communities through his policy work around health instruction. And he served on many local task forces, boards, coalitions dedicated to improving the health of Milwaukee's youth. And some of these include United Neighborhood Centers in Milwaukee, Boys and Girls Club, Milwaukee County Substance Abuse Coalition, Milwaukee Alliance for Sexual Health, Fight Asthma Milwaukee Allies, and the Governor's Council on Physical Activity and Health. And currently he serves as president of the Society of Health and Physical Educators, known as SHAPE America. Brett, thank you so much, and congratulations for receiving this award.
Well, thank you, Dr. Raymond, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. You know, my time in Milwaukee Public Schools, I came from a small town, Palmyra, and back in '93, I came to Milwaukee because I couldn't find a teaching job anywhere else, to be honest. And it became a wonderful community to have a career in. You know, I spent from '93 into 2007 as a physical education teacher at Marshall High School in Milwaukee. And then I took on the role in June of 2007 as the curriculum specialist for health and physical education. And what's kind of crazy about it is that as a teacher in the state's largest school district, we don't get a lot of good press. And it feels like everybody is against us. And in my new role as the curriculum specialist back in 2007, I learned within a day's time how many people and agencies are here to support the children of Milwaukee. And it was just a really eye-opening experience. You know, I have a lot of groups that I've worked with over the last 13 years, not because I went out looking for them, because they were looking for us. And I think part of it is you have to be open to those partnerships and ready to see what they can offer and make sure it aligns with the work that we're doing. You know, the work with United Way has been some of the most important work that I've done in my career around teen pregnancy in Milwaukee. But that was a true partnership. MPS was only a small part of the efforts that drove down our teen pregnancy rates. I've worked with the American Heart Association, American Cancer Society, Diverse and Resilient, you know, then Fight Asthma Milwaukee Allies. Those are just a few. And I think the best partner, though, I still have to say has been, for me, has been Medical College of Wisconsin. I started my first day in my new role in June of 2007. I was introduced to Dr. David Nelson, who was also on his first day at the medical college. And that 13-plus-year partnership has been an incredible ride for supporting people in our community and supporting the children of Milwaukee Public Schools. And along with Dr. Nelson, then, of course, soon after I met Dr. Christopher Simmons from Marquette University, and then Dr. Leslie Ruffalo joined us as well. So it has been an absolute pleasure to work with the people. And I've told David, Chris, and Leslie multiple times, I'm just doing my job. I don't think I do anything special. And I think the biggest thing is going out there and, like I said, being open to finding ways to work together, because we can't do this work alone. In my year as president of Shape America, the nation's health and physical education professional association, my motto this year has been, we're stronger together. And I've really tried to live that motto and have for a long time as a servant leader. So I want to thank Dr. Ahmed for the work that you've been doing in our community. Dr. Raymond, thank you for all the efforts around Medical College of Wisconsin supporting the work in our community. It's vital for the people in most need. And again, I want to especially thank my specific partners, which would be Dr. David Nelson, Dr. Christopher Simmons from Marquette, Dr. Leslie Ruffalo. Without you guys, half the work that I've been able to accomplish would not have been possible. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Brett, for your gracious comments. And we're really blessed to have you in our community. The second award category is for MCW students. And I'm pleased to announce Bisola Sarah Omoba as the recipient. She received her MD degree from MCW this past June, and she's had a tremendously positive impact on our institution during her short time here. She received the Advanced Medical Opportunity Scholarship and was inducted into the Gold Humanism Honor Society last fall. And throughout her undergraduate years, she's been active in both campus and community programs aimed at improving opportunities for health and health education for underrepresented people and under-resourced communities. She's participated in blood pressure screenings, blood glucose readings, and general education at community health fairs. She was the community engagement liaison for the Student National Medical Association and worked to introduce careers in medicine to young people in underserved areas. Bisola also served to expand the specialties represented in this program by engaging residency and student organizations to leverage their connections within Froedtert and Children's. And during her third year of medical school, she took part in outreach at elementary schools in central Milwaukee that are affiliated with Family Medicine Clinic. She also initiated the program Bridging the Gap, equipping underrepresented undergraduates with the tools to succeed in medicine. And this program helps underrepresented students develop skills necessary for admission to medical school. And to date, approximately 120 students have participated in this important program. She plans to pursue a career in family medicine and hopes to continue her commitment towards advancing diversity in medicine throughout medical education outreach. Congratulations for receiving this award.
Hi, thank you so much for including me in this amazing ceremony. I first want to thank Megan Hayes, Cheryl Crawford, and Peter Tobushin for nominating me for this amazing and prestigious award. And then I secondly want to thank the presidents of the MCW President's Engagement, of the MCW President's Community Engagement Committee for accepting my nomination. I have a strong passion, as Dr. Raymond kind of mentioned, for community medicine at MCW as well as in undergrad, and I plan to continue and pursue this passion of community medicine in residency. I am applying for family medicine residency this year, and I've gotten a lot of interviews and prospects, so I'm very excited. And every single one of those programs has a huge and strong emphasis on community medicine. So I know that wherever I go, I'll be able to continue this work that I started in MCW, and I'm very excited about that. So once again, I wanted to thank you guys all for coming. And I want to thank you, Dr. Raymond, and Dr. Med for presenting me with this award. I'm truly honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Solar. Very gracious, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that one of your potential destinations will be right here in Milwaukee. So anyway, thank you so much for everything that you've done. The third category of awards is for MCW staff, and this year we have two winners within this category. Our first awardee is Jermaine Murray. Jermaine, who joined MCW in 2017 as a community program coordinator for the MCW Cancer Center. He serves as a liaison between MCW and the community to provide education about cancer disparities and cancer prevention. And he coordinates the annual Prostate Health Education Network Symposium, which aims to eliminate the African American prostate cancer disparity through education and outreach. He's partnered with 27 Milwaukee churches for the Pin a Brother, Pin a Sister programs focused on prostate and breast cancer awareness. Jermaine serves as a board member of My Father's House, where he engages with men striving to develop a more consistent presence in their children's lives. He's collaborated with the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health and with the City of Milwaukee to bring the national play Daddy's Boys to Milwaukee to highlight prostate cancer early detection, treatment, and clinical trials. He serves on the American Heart Association's Diversity and Inclusion Impact Committee, working to advance health equity strategies, education, and awareness. He also is a member of the MCW Cancer Center Community Advisory Board, which won the Biz Times Healthcare Heroes Award for community service in 2018. He also was a 2019 recipient for the Outstanding Achievement Award for Collaborative Excellence in Community Engagement for his commitment to the mission and growth of the MCW Cancer Center. Currently, Jermaine works with the Fresh Food Access Fund in the City of Milwaukee by supporting food access projects aimed at eliminating food deserts. Congratulations, Jermaine, for receiving this award, and thank you for being a leader in our community.
Thank you, Dr. Raymond, for those remarks. I appreciate it. Dr. Saeed Ahmed, thank you so much, and the committee for recognizing my contributions and selecting me for this esteemed award. First, I would like to give thanks to my creator, whom all blessings flow. I would like to also thank Venus Coates for taking time to craft my nomination for this award and acknowledging my work in the community. It is truly appreciated. In addition, I would like to thank the Community Outreach and Engagement team at the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Center. You know, this award highlights amazing people that pour into me each and every day. Your words, acknowledgments, and zeal prepare me to push beyond the limits of greatness. They are Daryl Davidson, Dr. Tito Izzard, Dr. Alonzo Walker, Raina Andrews, Dr. Greer Jordan, Dr. Kenneth Jacobson, Janine Tucker, Cassandra Wright, Christian Young, Christopher Ajala, Tony Gray, Greg Wesley, the Culture of Inclusion Mission Engagement Group, the Student National Medical Association, Reverend Martin Childs Jr. of Pilgrim Rest Missionary Baptist Church, Gaulian Smith of G's Clippers, and the countless community partners that I've had a chance to develop true, authentic community engagement. I say thank you. I would like to also thank my family and my friends, more in particular, Dr. Veronica Williams for her support, and also my son, Javon. I love you both. I would not be remiss if I would not acknowledge the work of Ann Mathias. Although she's not with us, she's in our physical presence, in our hearts, in our minds, and we're thinking about you each and every day, Ann. So thank you. And finally, I would like to dedicate this award to my mom. Over 3.5 years ago, she lost her battle with ovarian cancer. She is the main reason I continue to provide information to underserved communities. Mom, I know you're smiling down on me, and I pray that I continue to make you proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jermaine, for all that you do and for those very genuine words. And you do make all of us proud. So the next staff award goes to Jennifer Oviede, better known as Nurse Jenny. And she's a community medicine clinical coordinator at MCW Ascension All Saints Family Health Center. And since 1998, Jenny's guided generations of medical learners in community outreach and has provided healthy lifestyle education to community members and to under-resourced neighborhoods. She's been instrumental in creating a community medicine curriculum for undergraduate medical students and MCW's family medicine residents. She also won 2 MCW Outstanding Medical Student Teaching Pins during the last 4 years. In 2013 and in 2019, she received the Community Partnership Award from the MCW Department of Family and Community Medicine. Jenny's partnered with community organizations to provide a monthly community resource hub at the Family Health Center. She leads classes in exercise, healthy cooking, and yoga, designed for patients and community participants. She partners with Mount Calvary Community Development Corporation around the Farm to Hospital and Community program. This program employs high school students as interns to work on the urban farm at the All Saints facility. And she works with students from other area schools to plant vegetable gardens, and later she cooks with the students so that they can enjoy their harvest and learn about nutrition. Jenny works with several MPS schools to introduce different health careers to students. And she also holds focus sessions on building self-esteem, sexual health education, and preventing substance abuse. Jenny, thank you so much, and congratulations for receiving this award. Jenny, if you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Can you guys see me? Okay, I can see. Thank you so much, Dr. Raymond. I am so honored to be in this pool of just such giving people in this group of recipients. I've been a nurse for 40 years and 20 of them have been at the Family Health Center where you see the pictures going through. And it was 20 years ago, about this time of the year, that I met my friend and boss, Sandy Olson, who had a community health nurse grant. And I was changing jobs and they took a chance on me. And not only that, they gave me the lead rope and the creative options to design all these things that you see going through in the pictures and all the wonderful comments that you've made about me. But as all of you know, this isn't something a person does alone. We have a family practice residency, and I have the most fabulous partner in Dr. Venetia McKinney. And she and I, our main job is to create all these things that's like a buffet of things that the residents can do in the 3 years, and the med students that are at our clinic every month, and then obviously serving the community. So it's something that we proudly work on constantly, to listen to the community, which we bring in the community members. They have to tell us what they need. It's not our job to do it, it's our job to listen. And a typical week for me is, and people who know me, I always say I have the absolute best job in the whole world. A typical week, I might be going out to school. During the pandemic, I might be doing virtual videos with M3s. I was lucky enough to work with Bisala when she was an M3. I know Stacy. So to be able to know 2 of these other recipients is also quite an honor. We have a farm in the back of the clinic. They finally broke ground on our greenhouse. We have a teaching kitchen. I've done virtual cooking classes so that people don't have to miss out on some of those things. And there's no end to the tea parties and the creative ways that we try to make patients, you know, look for health, and also just attending to their spirituality and their overall health as a person, and knowing how much that we care to make the world a better place for them. Helping the family medicine residents through the 3 years and touching base with the M3s is inspirational. It's not hard to do what I do when all the things come from passions from other people. I feel like I'm just there to be like a vessel to help people stay connected to why we all wanted to help people in the first place. And lastly, I think sometimes it's like I get to do the shiny stuff that shines, and I'm so honored to be able to receive these kind of acknowledgements. But I want to accept this on behalf of all the people that are actually shining the lights. They're the people showing the way in the community, pointing the next direction for something. And the whole team of people that makes all this shiny stuff I get to do, that's amazing. They make it so that I actually can carry this stuff out. And they're behind the scenes all the time supporting me. And so I accept this award on behalf of all the people shining the lights for me. And special thanks to my dear husband, Chris, who supports me constantly and is such an inspiration. So to everyone working on behalf of community in this area, and MCW for all your support continuously and sending us the best and the brightest so that we can all keep making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, for your passion and your compassion, and congratulations. The 4th and final category of awards is for MCW faculty, and this year we have 2 recipients. And our first awardee is Dr. Michael Levis. He graduated from MCW in 2005, and in 2014, he received a Master of Clinical and Translational Science degree from MCW's Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. He serves as Associate Professor of Pediatrics in the Division of Pediatric Emergency Medicine and Vice Chair of Diversity in the Department of Pediatrics. He also serves as Deputy Director of the Comprehensive Injury Center. He's the Associate Medical Director and Evaluator of Project Ujima, one of the premier hospital-based youth violence prevention and intervention programs in the United States, sponsored by Children's Wisconsin in partnership with MCW. And since joining our faculty, he's been deeply involved in addressing healthcare disparities, youth violence prevention, and improving diversity and equity within his division. He served as advisor to the MCW Apprenticeship in Medicine program for underrepresented medicine high school students who aspire to healthcare careers. He teaches medical terminology in Spanish to medical students to promote improved healthcare for Spanish-speaking families. And through MCW Pathways, he's mentored many medical students in the care of violently injured youth. He participates in countless hours of community service with the Pediatric Arthritis Foundation, National Night Out, and resident community education rotations at local grade schools. He also works with the Guns, Grief, and Grace Coalition to promote gun safety through education. And he serves on the advisory board for the national organization, Health Alliance for Violence Intervention. He regularly engages with our Latinx community for improving health and healthcare, and embeds our MCW staff, faculty, and medical students in a variety of community projects. Congratulations so much, Michael, and thank you for all that you do.
Thanks, President Raymond, and thank you to the committee for allowing me to get this award. I think it's a testament to what Dr. Ahmed said earlier that I recognize most faces around the table right now. There are so many people in our medical college community that are working to try and improve society, to try and improve the lives of those individuals that we touch. And I think really this panel here is really, I agree, the shining light of medical college in the community. Most of us, I probably can say, don't do this to get the awards, but it is nice to get acknowledgement. But it also behooves us to really accept these awards on behalf of all of the individuals on campus who are really leading in this work and really looking outside of our own campus to acknowledge those social determinants of health that impact our patients, our students, our residents, and ourselves. I work in the emergency department, and every shift that I work, I'm reminded of all of the barriers and all of the hardships that our patients face on a daily basis with COVID, civil unrest, the stress of an election coming up. It's plain on the patients' faces that they're coming in for much more than just an asthma treatment or for just a runny nose. They need a holistic approach to that healing. And I really appreciate the fact that everyone on this panel is working to address those issues in the community and address patients as a whole. I really also want to echo what Dr. Ahmed said about mentorship. You know, these are community engagement awards, but we also have our community within the medical school. And I've been reminded on a daily basis by the residents and other trainees that they are interested in doing this work, and they are looking for outlets to really, really engage in community improvement. So let this be a call to arms for those other people out there as faculty. Reach down, open the door for somebody. I wouldn't be here without some of my mentors opening doors for me. Marlene Melzer-Lang, Ernestine Willis, who really introduced me to what it's like to be passionate about these issues and how you can actually make a difference. And lastly, because they're blowing up my cell phone right now, I have to give a shout out to my family. None of us can do this work without having the support and the safety net that for me is my family. It's my wife, Lee, my three awesome daughters, and then of course, my parents who raised me and who I take a lot of my values from. So thank you again for this. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike, and congratulations. And we truly appreciate the impact that you have on all of us here at MCW and in the community. Our second and final faculty awardee is Dr. Stacy Young. She's an associate professor in the Department of Family and Community Medicine and director of the Center for Healthy Communities and Research. Dr. Young joined MCW as a program coordinator in 1997 and became an MCW faculty member in 2008. And her focus has consistently been on community engagement. She's taught graduate courses for MCW's PhD in Public and Community Health and serves as the finance advisor for the student-run Saturday Clinic for the Uninsured. She's been the principal investigator for multiple research projects with long-standing local and statewide partners, all of which address public and community health workforce and the role of safety net clinics in ensuring access to health and healthcare for the uninsured. As a sociologist, her work demonstrates a deep commitment to examining structural barriers and conditions that contribute to health disparities. She's been involved with grant-funded projects related to cancer prevention and disparities among racial minorities and public housing residents. She's led several programs with faith-based organizations to train parish nurses, community health workers, and community advocates. She's worked in partnership with the Benedict Center, addressing women's exposure to violence, and worked to increase access to safe shelter and housing for women in street prostitution. Dr. Young currently serves as co-investigator on a grant from the Advancing a Healthy Wisconsin Endowment to develop recommendations for incorporating population health principles into MCW's curricula. Dr. Young has been recognized with awards for her community engagement by the Wisconsin Public Health Association, Medical Society of Milwaukee County, Milwaukee Academy of Medicine, and the SNMA. She's also the recipient of the Milwaukee Award for Neighborhood Development Innovation. Stacy, congratulations. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thanks so much, President Raymond, and thank you to Dr. Ahmed and to the Office of Community Engagement and the committee for this award. I'm so humbled and thankful, and that's something my parents taught me, is to be thankful in all things every day. And so I acknowledge them first and all that they bring to my life. I'd like to recognize also, I've been at MCW for a long time, and I'm so thankful to Dr. Cheryl Morano, who first hired me and has helped set me on this path, and all of the community organizations that I've had the privilege, the absolute privilege to work with over the last 20 plus years. I've learned so much from my community partners and from residents. I'm a Milwaukee native, born and raised here, and so committed to the health of this community and so believe in our future success. And I just want to recognize that the dedication of my community partners has been what's contributed to anything that I've been able to do in my work. I'd like to recognize the wonderful team that I work with, that I get the privilege of working with, the faculty and staff of the Center for Healthy Communities and Research, those that are past and present, faculty and staff with our division, the pleasure of working with leadership, my prior chair, Dr. Alan David, and current chair, Dr. Joe Gravel, and the leadership of the department, I think, has been what's been so valuable for community engagement. And also recognizing my fellow colleague, Nurse Jenny, in this work that we've been so committed to. You know, I just want to say that I attended the American Public Health Association's annual meeting this year, and there was so much commitment to social justice work and grounding our work in a belief that we're only as strong as our fellow citizens and fellow residents and community members. And I think it is so important for those of us doing community engagement work to recognize the importance of health equity and ensuring that people are able to thrive with all of the opportunities available to them. So I just want to thank everyone that is a recipient of this award and hope that we're able to continue to move this valuable work forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy, for all that you do and serving as an inspiration to us and our community partners. We're very grateful. And I'd like to encourage everyone to continue to place your congratulations in the chat box and join me in virtually applauding all of our awardees here for all the work that they do for MCW and for our communities. Thank you so much and congratulations. And I'd like to
At this time, we are asking all the community engagement awardees to turn their camera on so we can see everyone together. And Dr. Raymond, if you wanted to join them as well, we thought we'd just take a few moments for virtual applause and to see the group of the awardees all together. Thank you. Congratulations to everyone. At this time, we will transition to the diversity and inclusion portion of the awards ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine, Dr. Ahmed, the Office of Community Engagement, and all the amazing winners of the Community Engagement Awards. It's such an honor to be celebrating you all today. It really is. And some of you I've worked with, so I appreciate your efforts. But I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we're going to get started with some reflections from Dr. Greer Jordan, who serves as our Vice President and Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer here at MCW. She's also a faculty member in the Institute of Health Equity at MCW. And what we're going to do before we get started to continue to celebrate our Diversity and Inclusion Award winners, we're going to take a moment to step back and reflect a little bit. And Dr. Jordan is going to share some of those reflections with us. So Dr. Jordan, we are listening.
Good morning, everyone, and a welcome to the President's Diversity and Inclusion Award portion of our ceremony today. Today, we're celebrating our colleagues and friends who embody a drive and passion for serving our MCW and greater Milwaukee community, and who are advancing the work of equity, diversity, and inclusion as we move toward a more inclusive, healthy, and thriving community for everyone. Let us recognize the past winners of the President's Diversity and Inclusion Award, as shown on the screen. And as we reflect on the legacy of these leaders, let's allow our hearts and spirits to be grateful for the journey that we are all undertaking. As President Raymond referred to earlier, it's a tough time for everyone. This is a tough journey, but let us be grateful for this journey with its challenges and its triumphs, because this is a journey that ultimately shapes and strengthens us all in ways that we cannot imagine. Let us also acknowledge that this year marks the 10-year anniversary of the Spring Festival of Cultures. Due to the pandemic, we had to make the difficult decision to cancel the remaining portion of the festival back in March. But I want to thank the Spring Festival of Cultures Committee for bringing this celebration to us throughout the years. And on behalf of the Spring Festival of Cultures Committee, I want to convey their warm appreciation and gratitude to the amazing General Services and Craft Departments of MCW, the Office of Communications and Brand Strategy, and the MCW Public Safety Team, who have supported and made the Spring Festival possible throughout the years. Now, the Spring Festival of Cultures event, which has been attended by thousands over the past 10 years, would not have come to be without the vision and commitment of Dr. Alonzo Walker. Dr. Walker, on behalf of the MCW community, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and the Spring Festival of Cultures Committee, I extend gratitude for your persistence, your determination, and your leadership advancing equity, diversity, and inclusion at the Medical College of Wisconsin. Please accept this recognition and award. Hello.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Jordan. It's a pleasure to, first of all, see you again. It's been a while since we have seen each other. As I speak at this time, I just want to say that what you've already said, the work of diversity and inclusion requires all of us working together. And I want to, at this time, thank Dr. Raymond for making the decision to go forward with a Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer who is now a Vice President of the institution. I'm glad to have participated in that process. Overall, in that selection, that is you being the first, and going forward with overall efforts of diversity and inclusion at the Medical College of Wisconsin. So once again, I thank you and the office and the Medical College, including Dr. Raymond, for this award, and thank Tony and all the members of the office, as well as Ashley Hines, in terms of keeping things going, in terms of supporting diversity and inclusion at the Medical College of Wisconsin. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Dr. Walker. Now, let us proceed to recognize our 2020 President's Diversity and Inclusion Award recipients. Please, once again, welcome President Raymond to do the honors.
Thank you, Dr. Jordan. And before we start, I just want to thank Dr. Walker for being such an inspiration to so many of us for so many years. You are the model physician, Alonzo, for many of us, and I'm just so glad that you're staying connected with MCW. It's always an honor to be in your presence. So thanks for everything that you do. And now I would like to move on to the President's Diversity and Inclusion Awards. There will be 6 recipients of the awards, and these are given in partnership from the Office of the President, MCW's Diversity and Inclusion Action Committee, and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And the President's Diversity and Inclusion Awards honor individuals who've established an exemplary record of achievements or contributions at MCW or throughout greater Milwaukee community that advance equity, diversity, and inclusion in any of MCW's mission areas of education, research, community engagement, and clinical care. Each recipient has received a cash prize of $2,500, an attractive desk award, and her or his name engraved on the plaque, temporarily held in the Office of Diversity and Inclusion Suite next to the MCW bookstore on the first floor. Now, it's my honor to recognize the runner-ups for this year's awards. Dr. Ivor Benjamin, Director of MCW's Cardiovascular Center and Professor in the Department of Medicine's Division of Cardiology. Dr. Tom Chalimsky, Professor in the Department of Neurology. Dr. Leonard Oviede, Director of MCW's Center for Advancing Population Science and Professor and Chief of the Department of Medicine's Division of General Internal Medicine. Dr. Camille Garrison, Associate Professor in the Department of Family and Community Medicine. Dr. Judy Kim, Professor in the Department of Ophthalmology and Visual Sciences. Dr. Ian B.K. Martin, Professor and Chair of the Department of Emergency Medicine. Dr. Venetia McKinney-Whitson, Assistant Professor in the Department of Family and Community Medicine. Dr. Teresa Patitucci, Assistant Professor in the Department of Cell Biology, Neurobiology, and Anatomy. Dr. Hisham Soliman, Director of the Spinal Oncology Program, Associate Director of the Spine Fellowship Program, and Assistant Professor in the Department of Neurosurgery. On behalf of the MCW community and all of those attending virtually, thank you for your continued work and your commitment to moving equity, diversity, and inclusion efforts forward for the benefit of our patients, MCW, and the greater Milwaukee community. And I would encourage all of you on the webinar here to congratulate and thank those individuals in the chat box. And now I'm pleased to announce this year's award recipients. Dr. Terry Daroon Cassini, Dr. Christina Caljo, Ann Quimby Matthias, posthumous, Dr. David Milia, Reggie Moore, and Dr. Melinda Stolley. Winners, while we're unable to ask you to stand for visual recognition, I do ask everybody to use the chat box and give a hearty virtual round of applause. So Dr. Terry Daroon Cassini is an associate professor in the Department of Surgery, Division of Trauma and Acute Care Surgery, and Director of Trauma Psychology and Trauma Research. And on August 1st, she assumed the additional role of Director of the MCW Comprehensive Injury Center. 11 years ago, Terry launched the Trauma Psychology Service at Froedtert Hospital to work alongside trauma program providers to address the high rates of psychological distress among the injured. She's most proud of her collaboration with the 414 Life program, which was implemented by the City of Milwaukee's Office of Violence Prevention in partnership with Froedtert and MCW's Trauma Division. This collaboration has fostered shared learning among trauma groups to advance the healthcare of disenfranchised populations, along with shared values and equitable healthcare for all patients. Her most important partnership, her family, loves the outdoors, reading, playing board games, and Pokemon hunts, particularly if it includes a stop for ice cream. Dr. Terry Daroon Cassini, thank you so much for your commitment to this work. And we now invite you to share a few words. Terry?
Thank you, Dr. Raymond, and thank you, Dr. Jordan, and for the recognition of the work that we've been doing. I also want to thank Dr. Mark DeMoya for unending support for this program and what we've been doing, and Dr. Stacy Hillard for working to nominate us for this. And I also want to thank Eric Conley, the now president of Froedtert Hospital. When David Mealy and I went to him to get approval to do the 414 Life program, his support was tremendous, and that pushed us forward. with so much momentum to integrate this program into our trauma care. I can't go without recognizing the individuals that are part of the most significant partnership I know I've experienced in my career. And that's Reggie Moore for his vision and passion and fortitude for the work that he does. And for Dr. David Melia for being such a great partner within our trauma division to move the Foreign for Life program forward. And the Foreign for Life team for the courage in the work that they do in violence prevention and interrupting the cycle of violence and the spread of violence as a disease in our community. Particularly Tania Lydell, who is our hospital responder, who has the most passion of any human being I've ever met, and fuels me to be very passionate about doing what we can at the hospital. Violence prevention is a priority for our trauma program and the Comprehensive Injury Center. For a long time now, as Dr. Raymond mentioned, we've had psychological care alongside trauma care to provide holistic healing opportunities for our patients. The stress and distress caused by events, especially violent events, is unending for some people and causes significant disruption in one's life. Yet until recently, we realized we were truly missing the most important part of the care that we're providing in holistic care, and that is providing appropriate socio-cultural care. And that's been so tremendous in our clinical care that we're providing our trauma patients on a daily basis. And it's also provided opportunities for us to really address what we need to be doing at our medical center to make sure that we're uplifting our trauma patients and giving them the best opportunity for the greatest quality of life that they can. Trauma patients, particularly our gunshot wound patients, have a significant risk for future mortality due to gun violence after surviving an event and coming to our trauma center. And we truly believe that this is a social determinant of health. To that end, we are not ending with the Foreign for Life program, but continuing to evolve programs. And I'm so inspired by the work of our trauma center. For example, the work of Dr. Colleen Trevino in the Trauma Quality of Life Clinic, where we are now going to be providing multidisciplinary care to our Foreign for Life gunshot wound patients. The work that we have done has highlighted a lot of work that we still have left to do, and we are committed to that. Our institution really does have a moral and ethical responsibility to develop effective treatments that are socio-culturally sensitive to our trauma patients and their needs. And we want to continue to expand the care that we're providing. I truly believe that this is the most important work that I have done in my career, and I'm honored to receive this award on behalf of our trauma program. And I want to thank the MCW for honoring us in this work. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. And one thing that I did want to mention is you were well ahead of your time bringing social and behavioral science together with trauma surgery. Really a remarkable idea, and you truly are one of the leaders in the field. We're blessed to have you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next award goes to Dr. Christina Caljo. She serves as an assistant professor and the M3 clerkship co-director for the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. She also has a secondary appointment through the Robert D. and Patricia A. Kern Institute for the Transformation of Medical Education, Crosspillar, where she has the unique opportunity to collaborate with medical education faculty across the entire spectrum of our faculty and staff. And prior to joining the MCW faculty, she was a member of the Department of Curriculum and Instruction at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, where she supervised the development of urban pre-service teachers. In this capacity, she instructed undergraduate and graduate courses in the analysis of instructional methods, urban education policy, and culturally responsive teaching. Dr. Caljo's interests include preparing culturally responsive educators, curriculum design, gender studies, and program development for underrepresented students seeking opportunities in research, science, and medicine. Dr. Christina Caljo, we appreciate your commitment to our students and to help to create an equitable learning environment for all. So we thank you again, congratulate you, and invite you to share a few words.
Thank you so very much, President Raymond and Dr. Jordan. This is an incredible honor. First and foremost, I think really this award is to all of the students and learners that I have the opportunity to work alongside. They are the individuals who teach me every single day, and they help me and guide me and really welcome me into their space. So I am so incredibly grateful for all of them. I also see many of my colleagues and friends online, so thank you to them as well. As many of you provide the energy and support to everything that I do, and you really encourage the change to happen and to advance an inclusive environment here on campus, as well as really across Milwaukee. Of course, I am incredibly grateful for my co-PI of Spark, Dr. Janet Rader, whose leadership and guidance has been paramount to everything that I do. She really took the chance, I think, in hiring me as a PhD educator to come and join the Department of OBGYN. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. And then I think too, of course, for my family who always push me and encourage me to seek different opportunities and always take chances. I hope that I am a model for my children as well. So I am incredibly grateful. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Christina. You're an inspiration to all of us, to our community and our learners as well. Next, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of tears and heart emojis for this, but we're going to posthumously honor Ann Quimby Matthias, who passed away unexpectedly far too soon on December 2nd, 2019. Ann joined the MCW Cancer Center in 2012, and she quickly established herself as an advocate for bringing together the community, faculty, students, and staff to identify and reduce the inequities and barriers faced by so many impacted by cancer. She worked with faculty leaders and the Milwaukee Public Schools to create a curriculum for students to learn and teach cancer prevention and healthy lifestyles to their peers, their family, and their neighbors. Partnering with the Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment, Ann developed community conversations programs that address the historical traumas and also created a productive space for community, clinicians, and researchers to safely discuss these issues on equal footing. This led to additional efforts with community partners to increase participation by people and communities of color in cancer clinical trials. She also was the visionary and tireless organizer behind the launch of the MCW Cancer Center Community Advisory Board. And this distinguished group, comprised of civic leaders and health activists, elected officials, MCW faculty, staff, and learners, leads our efforts to work with the community and take on the most difficult challenges that we face in cancer. Ann's spirit and passion are tremendously missed. We're humbled and grateful to honor Ann today with her family and friends. I see that her husband, Michael, who's also an amazing and inspirational person, is here with us today. And Marilyn Larson, who worked closely with Ann at the Cancer Center, will accept the award on behalf of Ann's family. Marilyn?
Dr. Raymond, members of the selection committee, and especially friends and members of the Matthias and Quimby families, I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of Ann Quimby Matthias. Ann embodied the mission of the Cancer Center and our clinical partners. Her moral compass pointed towards anti-racism and social justice, and we are the beneficiaries of her legacy. She was kind, inclusive, curious, and treated everyone as family. Her passion for eliminating cancer health disparities led her in the development of her community outreach, but it did not stop there. Ann was not afraid to speak truth to power and held her colleagues to high standards. She would deploy grace and humor in educating and calling out where we had to grow and learn, whether it was a bias or checking our own white privilege. We will never be able to replace her, but we hope to honor her belief in us as we rise toward eliminating cancer health disparities. We miss her, but still follow her star. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. And again, Ann is somebody whose amazing impact lives on through everybody that she touched and interacted with and inspired. So thank you so much. Next, we'd like to recognize Dr. David Melia, who joined the Department of Surgery's Division of Trauma and Acute Care Surgery in 2010. And now he serves as an associate professor. For the last 3 years, he's also served as the medical director for Freighter's Level 1 trauma program. Additionally, he's a member of the United States Army Reserve and has been deployed several times to share his skills as a surgeon. And thank you so much for serving our country. Utilizing a public health model, Dr. Milia worked closely with the City of Milwaukee's Office of Violence Prevention to integrate the 414 Life program into Freighter Hospital. This community-partnered hospital violence interrupter program has been successfully incorporated into an already outstanding trauma care team, from which you've already heard several members, and you're going to hear more moving forward. 190 patients have been enrolled in the first 8 months of the program, and the trauma staff have reported increased awareness, empathy, and a clearer understanding of the problems facing Milwaukee's urban population. Dr. David Melia, we're grateful for your continued contribution in serving the greater Milwaukee community as well as our country, and we'd like to invite you to share a few words.
Thank you so much, President Raymond, and thanks for the Medical College for recognizing the critically important work that's developed from the partnership with the City of Milwaukee. I can tell that Dr. Drew Cassini and I have been working too closely together for too long, because I had some notes written down and she pretty much said everything I was going to say. So I'm going to wing it. And I'd really like to thank Reggie Moore, who you're going to hear from in a second, for the gift that he has given people like me, actually. And he doesn't know this, but I know as a trauma surgeon, I've been doing what I've been doing for over a decade now. And within our division, there's several hundred years worth of trauma surgery experience. And we have taken care of countless numbers of patients whose lives and families' lives who have been destroyed by violence. To quantify the destruction of life solely by the destruction of tissue is to really not do it justice. The patients are forever changed when they are victims of violence, and their families and loved ones are forever changed as well. And to this date, we have not had a tool to address the endless cycle that is the public health crisis of urban violence. And Reggie, you and your 414 Life team have presented to us as trauma providers for the first time ever a tool to really to put a wrench in the wheel that is this cycle of violence. And Reggie, for that, I thank you. You and your team members, Tania and the rest of her crew, have given us more than you can ever know, and will continue to do so for the next many years. What you've also done is you've forced me and my team to look inward and look at our own system, and we've really been able to recognize the hidden biases and the structural issues deeply intertwined within the policies of both the hospital and the college. And really, for the first time ever, we as trauma surgeons have been now advocates on the administrative side to really try and untangle those intertwined biases and really get at the root cause of a lot of the problems plaguing our institution. And so, Reggie, Tania, blah, blah, all you on the 414 Life crew, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I think our work is only beginning. I think our relationship will only continue to grow from here on in. So President Raymond, again, thank you for your recognition. And again, I'm one of the smallest men on the totem pole here. Reggie and his crew is doing the lion's share of the work. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, David. You may be one of the smallest men on the totem pole, but you are standing tall today. So thank you. We've already heard about Reggie Moore, so it's my distinct honor to recognize Reggie. He currently serves as the Injury and Violence Prevention Director in the City of Milwaukee. Appointed by Mayor Tom Barrett in 2016, Reggie leads the city's efforts to assess, prevent, and decrease incidents of structural and community violence. The Office of Violence Prevention advances its mission through partnerships that strengthen youth, families, neighborhoods, and communities. And prior to this role, Reggie led local and national efforts at the Center for Youth Engagement, Public Allies, Urban Underground in Milwaukee, Movement Strategy Center in Oakland, California, and the Truth Initiative in Washington, D.C. In 2017, Reggie facilitated the development and launch of Milwaukee's first comprehensive violence prevention plan, known as the Blueprint for Peace, a community-centered plan that takes a public health approach to address the root causes of violence and trauma in Milwaukee. Reggie leads 414 Life, which you've already heard about several times, a remarkable program of the Office of Violence Prevention that has been implemented in partnership with Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin and many communities with which we interact and serve. This collaboration, championed by Drs. Terry Darun-Cassini and David Melia, recognized earlier as awardees today, along with many, many others, has resulted in some of the city's most vulnerable patients receiving enhanced care, support, and compassion at the most critical times of their lives. Reggie, your lifelong commitment to serving the community is exemplary, and we're truly grateful and honored to collaborate with you in the city of Milwaukee, and in a very small way to recognize that partnership and the work that you're doing. Reggie, we invite you to share a few words now.
Good afternoon or morning still. Thank you so much, Dr. Raymond, and the entire Office of Diversity and Inclusion for this recognition. Definitely stand on the shoulders of many individuals in our community, both locally and nationally, who have been pioneers in violence prevention. And I was honored to accept the appointment to this role in 2016 after a significant spike in homicides and non-fatal shootings in 2015. And rightfully, our community asks, what are we doing about this? And gun violence has been an issue that has plagued our community and our society for an infinite amount of years. And understanding violence as a public health issue and the things that we can do about it beyond criminal justice and punishment, and really looking at this issue from a lens of care and compassion and restoration and prevention is really what we engaged the community in defining in 2017 in the development of the Blueprint for Peace. And so this recognition is not mine alone. It definitely is recognition to our entire city and the thousands of young people and adults, survivors, public health officials, elected officials, everyone who was involved in the development of the Blueprint to really, again, reimagine what public safety should look like in communities. And understanding that safety is not just the absence of violence, but it's also the presence of opportunity. And this is something that, I continue to beat the drum about and to amplify, because oftentimes when we look at the trauma that arrives in, trauma centers or the traumatic incidents that happen that we see on the nightly news, and the statistics that we see, to understand that there's a mother, a father, a child, a son, an auntie, that there's a life behind those numbers. And so the more that we can look at how we work together as an entire community to address this issue, the better. And that's what we have to be committed to. And so again, also to the 414 Life team, Derek Rogers, Tania Liddell, who is an outstanding and amazing hospital responder. We could not have implemented this partnership without the leadership of Dr. Darun-Cassini and Dr. Melia, Dr. Demoya, Eric Conley, and others who, again, didn't need to be convinced of this issue and understanding gun violence, both as a racial justice issue, but also as a human rights issue. And so again, I thank you all for this award and this recognition. And again, the work continues. Thank you.
Thank you, Reggie. And I just want to say you're so genuine and approachable, and you're having a deep, profound, meaningful impact, not just on our community, but on MCW and the people here and how we think about our role in the community. So thank you for being an inspirational leader. The last award goes to Dr. Melinda Stolley, and we now want to express our appreciation and gratitude for all that Melinda does. She joined MCW 5 years ago as Associate Director of the Cancer Prevention and Control in our Cancer Center. She also serves as a clinical psychologist and spearheads a research program that focuses on cancer survivors from under-resourced communities. Charged with developing a community-engaged cancer research program, she's joined forces with academic and community partners to leverage and create important bridges to better understand and address cancer disparities. She's deeply committed to training and mentoring opportunities that support diversity in workforce, as well as diversity in thought. Dr. Stolley's passionate commitment to diversity and inclusion stems from the influence of her journalist parents who championed issues of social justice. She's been married for 30 years and has 3 children, and her family forms the foundation of joy in her life. Dr. Stolley, I just want to say we appreciate your tireless efforts in cancer research and helping us to forge strong partnerships in the communities that we serve. And I just have to say personally, I feel like I've been enriched by observing how you go about partnering with communities. And I want to express my personal gratitude that you were willing to move here because you brought your successful program and all of your partnerships here to Milwaukee. And so we're so blessed to have you. And I'd like to invite you to share a few words now.
Thank you. I'm really appreciative of this honor. Sorry, I'm trying to get my video to work. There we go. Okay. Thank you, President Raymond, and thank you to the committee. I really also want to express my thanks to Shabi Haider, who is the student who nominated me for this award. And I think like everyone who's received an award today, it doesn't feel like mine, but instead the result of a team effort. And I've had such incredible honor to work with so many who challenge me and support me to grow in ways that I couldn't on my own. And at the same time, we join hands in our efforts to make efforts toward making the world a more just and equitable place, and also reduce the burden of cancer throughout really Wisconsin. I see these individuals really as my MCW family. It's an amazing network that took us from little to lots. I'm just going to name names because I think that's important. Marilyn, Jean, Kathleen, Toby, Tina, Sophia, Jermaine, Sharon, Anna, Sandra, Deb, Lauren, and Magdalise. We've had amazing med students who support so much of our efforts. We actually couldn't do most of the work without them. Summer cancer disparities interns, college students, Community Advisory Board for the Cancer Center has given so much, and then community partners, MPS, Milwaukee Rec, various faith-based institutions, MAHAC, fellow faculty, my gosh, fellow faculty, we're all in this together, and DIAC. And then there's institutional partners, Department of Medicine, the Cancer Center, Dean Kirshner. Advancing Healthier Wisconsin has been so generous in their support. And also external donors, Lily Friedman, Rob Sobchak, and Heil family, whose generosity has really contributed to diversifying MCW staff, research, and community engagement efforts. And then an important note, early in my time here, there were few of us in the Cancer Center who were committed to this work. And the biggest champion of all was my dear friend, Ann Mathias, and you've heard about her, but you know, no idea was ever too big, too small, or too crazy. She was like, let's do it. Any idea had the potential that had a potential was worth exploring. And I'm so thrilled that she's been honored today as well. So in closing, I want to call out something that Kamara Jones, who visited last year, thanks to Dr. Jordan, and in her visit, she spoke about using a conveyor belt like those we might use in an airport as an analogy. And she observed that unless we are walking actively, quickly, and I would add consciously, away from racism, we will be carried toward racism. And I believe this message should really guide all we do. And Dr. Raymond, I want to thank you for making anti-racism a top priority at MCW, because I think we are walking the opposite direction, and it is hard. It will be a hard climb, but it is the right climb. And last but not least, certainly my family that feeds my soul each day. So thank you.
Thank you, Melinda, for your inspirational leadership and being such a great role model. If I could ask the Diversity Inclusion Award winners to come on screen like we did for the Community Engagement Award winners. And if Marilyn is still here, if you could represent for Ann Mathias, just so that we can take a screenshot with everybody. All right, thanks so much, everyone, and congratulations to all of our winners today. And I want to express my deepest gratitude and MCW's collective gratitude to Ann's family and friends who are here with us today, Michael and Connor. I know that this is difficult, but hopefully you will continue to be uplifted by Ann's impact on MCW and all the people here. To everyone else, thank you for joining us to celebrate today's award recipients and to recognize their outstanding contributions to MCW and more importantly to our communities. Their tireless efforts, their remarkable impact, and in fact, all the work that they do through you have been critical to support our communities during these very challenging and unprecedented times. Please, everyone, continue to do your best to stay safe and healthy, help our community stay safe and healthy. Your well-being is important to us and to our communities as we strive to make MCW and our greater Milwaukee community a healthier place to live, grow, and thrive. And as we continue on our journey to be an anti-racist institution. Thank you so much to everybody.